Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy. Most brush it off. They blame themselves, saying things like, I lost my mojo. Or you make excuses. I had a long day at work, honey. Sorry, just not feeling it. Look, guys, with Roman, it's easy to talk about. With a real healthcare professional who can prescribe real medication. It's simple, it's safe, and it's totally discreet. With Roman, you get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for ED, all from the comfort and privacy of your home. A healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, Roman will ship it to you with free 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward, simple, and discreet. Getting started is easy. Just go to getroman.com/Chael. Complete an online visit. Go to getroman.com/Chael. Do it today. If you're approved, you will get $15 off your first order of ED treatment. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you like a McRib? You guys ever try the McRib? Familiar with it? McRib comes out once a year. Undisclosed date. They announced it just before in time to promote it. Then you got a line around the block to McDonald's that they sell out all the McRibs. And if you're not there on time, at least in the opening days, you're simply not going to get one. Something is so popular, why does McDonald's not sell it every single day? Well, McDonald's was asked this question. Their marketing team came to the conclusion that because of the supply and demand and because of the scarcity and because of the way that we roll out this one item, we sell more in a 9-week window than we would sell if we sold them 52 weeks of the year. This was McDonald's explanation. I don't think that would stun any of us. I think that would make a level of sense. It's called anticipation. You're following the only law of economics that matters, which is that of supply and demand. Seems to work, right? Well, fighters don't know that, apparently. They think the McRib can sell any day. So when a fighter removes himself, thus kicking in the mechanism of economics known as supply and demand, when the fighter comes back, the house is going to get all the chips. When and if that fighter returns, no matter how long he's been gone, the anticipation of said return, the house will get back all of its chips. The fighter won't. So the fighter that sits out thinking he's doing something tactical, who all he's done is made himself unemployed, is going to pay a tax known as the stupid tax. If you were a fighter who sat out for 2 years and you were to be offered 3 fights a year, both those years coming to 6, let's round it down to 5. If you were to be paid $5 million per fight, there's $25 million that you did not get. That's the stupid tax that you paid. And a fighter can dig in, sure they can, and say, yes, I realize I didn't get paid, but I didn't do anything. And this is principle I'm standing on. Okay. I don't disagree. The McRib's here for 9 weeks. If you're selling McRibs, if that's your one thing and you only got to work 9 weeks instead of 52, you're probably pretty happy with how this is going to go. And you likely don't care what the pushback is. You just know you got 38 weeks of the year to be out on the beach and doing whatever the hell you want. So your perspective is going to be different, and you can dig in. You can. It's not going to make a difference. And when and if you come back and you have nowhere else to go and no other line of work and no other dreams and it's what you want to do, the house is going to get everything back. They're going to have an anticipation. There's going to be a buildup. And that might not be right down to the penny. That's true. But it's close enough for McDonald's. They seem to be like a pretty smart organization. They're not just a ma and pa shop trying to get up off the ground. Seems like there would be a lesson there that you would want to listen to. Imagine if you were one of these great fighters. And I mean one of the greats. Say Jon Joens, say Francis Ngannou, great, special. But imagine you had the mindset of Gilbert Burns. You're going to have to do more work, but you're not going to look at it like I have to. You're going to look at it like I get to because you want to compete. You're not going to have to pay the stupid tax because you're going to stay busy and you're going to stay active. You're going to go get that $25 million. Then you're going to reset that clock known as a contract, and you're going to go do your best to go get a 25 more until that window closes around you. But again, you never got hit with the stupid tax. So you're winning in every possible direction. And it just appears to be a tough spot, mentality wise. And then you have to deal with the surroundings of the industry known as managers. Possibly the single dumbest collective group our sport has ever had. And that is a huge statement, but possibly it would be the managers who want to talk to you about what makes sense. All right, here, managers, any one of you, and feel free to team up however you want to do this. I'm going to give you two athletes, and I'm not going to make you work. I'm going to make them stars. I'm going to give you Conor McGregor, and I'm going to give you George Masvidal, the sport's two biggest stars. You're going to get them to fight. You take it from here. I'm not giving you anything else. I'll give you these two guys. They have built-in contracts. It's very beautiful. There's some deliverables that you're going to have to meet. They're going to be very challenging, but you take it and you do it. What are you going to do? And when you do finally have that fight, who's going to show up? And for the people that weren't able to show up in person, who watched it and where and what media outlets covered it? And all of the other things that go into creating an industry where everybody kicks in and just does one small part. Everybody kicks in this one small area. All sorts of arms, all sorts of branches. Everybody participates, except the people who refuse to. And not only will they not get a level of participation financially, they will then pay the stupid tax. It's very tough because this is very simple. This is not complex. The unified rules are very straightforward. Contract that you have that offers you 3 matches a year. If you don't take those 3 matches, you're going to lose my respect. I'm not going to understand that. My father got up and went to work every single day. I can't imagine you only being called to the table 3 times and then finding some reason. I'm not going to get it. But there's a lot of wimps in our sport. We used to call them fans. Now they're the fighters. And now the fighters that are wimps relate really well with the fans because the fans are also wimps. And no offense to you guys. I mean, but in all fairness, right? When's the last time you said something positive? When's the last time you said something constructive? Juxtapose that against when you said something negative and when you said something that didn't participate in help. So now that the fighters and the fans speak the same language of mediocrity and wimps, wimpism, should we call it that, Vince? I think we just came up with a word over here. It seems as though now you at least have some support. You're going to have to pay the stupid tax, but you're going to get people on your Twitter feed that support you and think that you did the right thing. They also struggle with a concept called math. And meanwhile, you're going to have guys like Gilbert Burns, who came from out of nowhere, who took it all the way to the top, who's currently ranked number 2 in the world, who's fighting in nothing but co-main events and main events, trying to stay as absolute busy as he can as a way of getting better. They're going to catch you. And the UFC has these guys right now. They don't have to go find them. This is not an up-and-coming guy who lives in Dagestan or lives in Cuba or is training in Florida. It's none of those things. It's not a junior high student from Arkansas. And in a number of years is going to be they have them right now. They're under contract today. If you ever did not make it in fighting, you did not make it for one or both of 2 and only 2 reasons. You were not good enough or not enough people cared. There's no other reason that you would not make it. And now that we've identified what the 2 and only 2 pitfalls for, you were not good enough or not enough people cared. You will spend all of your time getting good enough. I understand that. It's a big piece of the pie, but you left one out there. You didn't spend any time making people care. So it's one of those situations where these sports' 3 biggest stars, were you good enough? Did you make people care? The sports' 3 biggest stars, Conor McGregor, George Masvidal, and Nate Diaz, all have one thing in common, which is as of late, they are not good enough. They're still main events. They're still the highest paid guys. They're still the most in demand. They still move the needle more than anybody else because Conor McGregor, George Masvidal, and Nate Diaz paid attention to the other rule that all of you took off, which is they made people care. It's extremely relevant. If you're winning about the wins and losses, you're the only one. You're the only one. I missed Muhammad Ali. He had his last fight the year that I was born. I thought my entire life that he was undefeated. I recently found out that Muhammad Ali had lost a handful of fights. I only bring that to you. Records just don't matter. They just simply don't matter. Mike Tyson was very close to undefeated, but he wasn't. I think the best boxer, certainly my favorite boxer of all time, is Sugar Ray Leonard. Thought he was undefeated for a period of time. I found out that he's not. Records don't matter. They matter to you, and they matter tonight. You'll look good in the next one, but tonight you want to win. And you'll worry about a strategy and plan in the next one, but tonight you want to win. I like it. I understand it. And longer term, they just don't matter. You'd like to see a McRib on the menu every day? It's not going to happen. They're going to have it for 9 weeks a year. It's a business decision. It's not personal. Don't let it hurt your feelings. They found out that they could sell more if they cram it into a 9-week period as opposed to if they stretch it out over 52 weeks. Article I read. It's their story. So what if you had a really great fighter who was very likely to get his hand raised? He had the mindset and hunger of Gilbert Burns, and he never had to pay the stupid tax. Imagine how that story ends for that athlete.